this in my playlist. You there, playlist. Yeah. Oops. All the way to the top, so that way. Alright. Learning from my mistakes. So, I mean, so with this game, there's two, in my opinion, there's two play styles, right? You can play very aggressively, where you hit, and then maybe shoot. Like, you can play like Bloodborne with that shot. Because every time you kill an enemy, it refills your bullet gauge, right? And then, what I learned at the very end of the game is that you can, you block, but while blocking, you can also parry. So L1, R1, right? So you can parry while blocking. Now with blessings, so the stamina, remove stamina downtime. That literally means infinite endurance. It's not like a green press shield in Dark Souls or the what is it, in Elden Ring? The Jartle Charm that increases your stamina. This just means that you're going to have unlimited stamina. So that gets really good. I'll show you in a moment. And this, I think, is the next one that you should put your points into, which is block unblockable attacks. The Blessing of Giant Slayer. So Blessing of Acrobat and Blessing of the Giant Slayer. So between this and this card, remove stamina downtime and being able to block everything, you're a wall. You're literally going to be a wall. So you don't need, health is great, but alright, so I'm just gonna show maybe I'll just keep it here so that way I don't spoil anything for anyone here. I think alright, this would probably be a good spot just to do two demonstrations between playstyle. So like with let me find some skeletons. Or just anything. Alright, so like with the Bloodborne more aggressive style, you can do this. Shoot them. Now my gun just refilled off that guy's death. So in theory, when you get into an area with a bunch of skeletons, they can look annoying, right? But they're there if you want to play more aggressively. So if there's a boss, you shoot the boss, do your hit to stun them, do the critical damage, and then if there's a skeleton, just kill them quickly and refill your bullets. Right? So every time anything dies, you refill your bullet gauge. So there's that. And another thing you can do if there's a bunch of them, let's see if I can find a group together. With the auto lock, alright, this will be good. So you have a bunch of things, right? If you shoot, stun, get that animation, you can also aim at a new. You can change your target while going through that animation. So you can finish them off, line up your next shot, do it that way. Alright, now, so this is where the unblockable comes in, like infinite endurance. Like, you can see my stamina. The removing the downtime, you don't take any damage. It's like 100% physical block. and you can parry from this, right? So, nope, I screwed up. I was too. There we go. And then you can critical shot them. And then critical shot again. And then I go back to block. Like, no damage. You're invincible. They will not be able to empty your stamina gauge if you unlock that stamina thing. And the parry window from block is really forgiving. Like, yeah. So if you're having trouble, and then what I find, like damage is good, but impact breaks their guard down. So, and they take more damage if you break their endurance bar, which is like their guard, their defense, and you can get a critical strike as well. So if you have high impact and high speed, I mean, in my opinion, that's better than damage. And I think agility helps you with parrying. So if you focus on, I would say, impact, I preferred impact, and then speed and agility. And as far as runes go, let's see, runes are important. And there's a couple of things that I don't think they're entirely clear about. Maybe they are, and I just, my oversight. Go back to the. So. Runes. There are tools that you find throughout the game. They're like toolkits. Right? And when you get a toolkit, you want to come over to this guy. And you can find this guy. He's getting like torn apart by critters somewhere in the game. He thinks he comes back here. So you turn your toolkits into this guy. Now runes. So when you equip a weapon, you can see you have these slots here. What I like to do is there's certain modifiers. Like, so boom, it says 20% boost. That literally means the attributes for each rune will get boosted by 20%. Right? So, one thing that is really good are the runes of cleansing that you'll find. What the runes of cleansing do is they remove the negative multipliers. So like here, this is 18 and -3 to agility. I would only get the damage multiplier, and a rune of cleansing would remove the -3 to agility. Or with this one, the -3 to speed. Or -18 to impact. Right? So when doing this, it's and the every time that you upgrade a weapon with additional toolkits that you give to this guy, you increase a permanent.
You got those sockets filled yet?
If I pulled it. So here, I've given him, I think, 3 or 4 toolkits, and the weapon permanently gains 40% all positive attributes and 5% of all the negative effects. So, of those stars on the right there, every time you get a star, every time you fortify your weapon or infuse it, that's what you'll keep of the rune's value that you slot. So what I like to do then, to avoid the negatives, right? So I pull this up. All right, so this is 18 to damage, minus 3 to agility. So I say I want damage. All right, I do this. And you see my agility's down now, but my damage is up. So now I'm going to look for, right here, agility 18%, minus 3 to damage. So I'm going to put this on, and it cancels out the negative attribute, right? So, like this brings my agility down, increases my damage, but because my damage is already increased and increasing over my agility, it cancels out the negative attribute. And then if I have, like, say, boon, if I put on this boon rune, if you look at my attributes, boom, it goes up, right? And then say I get all this filled, it doesn't matter, like, for this. I talk to this guy, say, I can infuse the weapon, and you'll lose these runes permanently. Like, so what runes you put into it, they're gone. But the weapon will keep those attributes, right? And then once you get a weapon to 3 stars, like if this was 3 stars, then you go this way. There's we come out here, and there's, what are they, com runes, or let's see,
Gotta keep for my mates,
Cosm stones. So what Cosm stones will do is they will, it says a grand rune has 100% of all the positive and 50% of all the negative effects. So when you get your weapon to all 3 stars, all those attributes that have been infused, you can put into a single rune, and it resets the weapon back to so it'll reset the weapon back to its original stats, right? But all the attributes that you've accumulated into that weapon will go into one rune, and it'll be called a grand rune, which is really good. So if you see here in my mall, so I have a bunch of grand runes like that. Like this is, I think, the first one I started with. And you can see it's like 19 to damage, speed to 11, 14 to agility, plus 7 to impact. But some of my later ones, because they've kind of compounded over time, you'll see my, like here, damage 31, speed 25, agility 28, impact 28. And then here, like, like they progressively start getting better, but that's because they compound. And then with these grand runes, you can also put a boon rune onto it and increase all of the combined attributes here by an additional 20%. And that's why why over on the right there, my stats are as high as they are in those columns at only 1 star, because of all these grand runes that I've faceted to it. So I mean, you don't level up in a traditional sense in this game, as far as getting a point for, say, vitality or endurance or vigor. But through these grand runes, you become pretty strong. And so that should be what you try to do, is choose runes to cancel out the negative attributes, infuse them into a weapon until you get to the 3 stars, at which point you can come to this guy and you can take all those weapon modifiers and put them into a single grand rune and reset the weapon back to square one so you can do it all again. So, yeah, things I would have liked to know when I first started out, and hope that helps everyone.